Welcome, fellow geeks, to the Geek Lounge, where today we will be discussing Batman No Man's Land. I have the whole series in Omnibuy. There's issues 1, 2, 3, 4. I thought there was 5 of them, but the one that I bought, the fifth one, was a little smaller, and it turns out that was from a different series, and issue 5 was about the last few issues in issue 4. So, what we have with Batman No Man's Land is it starts with an earthquake. Starts with an earthquake. It's 7.2, 7.3 on the Richter scale, which flattens Gotham. There's only a few buildings remaining standing, and a good majority of those were built by Wayne Enterprises because Bruce Wayne knew to try and earthquake-proof his buildings. The rest of them, rubble. It looked like a war zone. And this story proceeds to tell of the year-long ordeal, and it's a year-long in story and in reality of what happens during that time. The first few issues, you have Batman gone because Bruce Wayne had been in Washington, D.C. to try to gain support from the federal government to declare Gotham a disaster area, and failed. As a matter of fact, the federal government not only did not declare it a disaster zone, they cut ties with Gotham altogether. They said, you know what, we're not doing it. They aren't even part of America anymore. You will not be able to go in. You will not be able to leave. So there's a no-fly zone around there. There's no, you couldn't come in by air, sea, or land. Just cut off. And they were leaving Gothamites to fend for themselves. And as you can imagine, things go downhill quickly. You have people starving. You have street gangs taking territory. You have the mob bosses getting involved. You have the crooks taking territory. And you even have the police trying to take territory. And for the first few issues, you have the Bat family trying to deal with the effects. You have Huntress. You have the new Batgirl, which is, I think her name was Cassandra Cain, working there. You have all these other people just trying to first save lives and then try and regain control of things. And it is done so well because this is how you would imagine things happening. I mean, money is worthless. So when people aren't trying to hoard money, they're trying to get things that are worth money there, which is things we take for granted now, like batteries, clothing, food, stuff that is, up until recently have been readily accessible. Now it's in there, it's priceless. And you have people like the Penguin, who isn't the type to go out and do stuff up front. He is the one that is heavily involved with that. So he has some way of getting stuff in to the country or into this city. So if you want stuff, you have to try and deal with him. And he's collecting people. You have some of the gangs collecting people. You have Commissioner Gordon, who at this point has no authority anymore because they aren't law enforcement officers. But he's getting the members of the GCPD together to try and maintain some form of order. But then what's left of the police force is fractured because some of them want to do things the right way, the normal way, and do it. And then you have a guy by the name of Petite who turned to these ultra-violent vigilantes. So they have to... the Bat family has to go after, deal with him and their people as well, because everyone's trying to gain control over the city and put the bad stuff to an end and get things back. And eventually you have relief. Someone comes, people are saying, hey, we're going to start rebuilding. And it turns out that it's Luther who is going to help rebuild this city. And they're trying to figure out what his motivations are for building a city. Because with Luther, it's not altruism. There's got to be something behind it. This is a great series, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I'm really glad this is the introduction to the Cassie Cain Batgirl, and made me appreciate the character more. So I highly recommend this. You should be getting if you haven't read it, if you don't have copies of it, get it, read it. It'll be worth the time to read because it is awesome. Anyway, have you read it? Let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Like, subscribe, and most of all, enjoy your comics.